In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a plan to a bungalow using Sketchup. I already have a design here that I've mapped out using the correct dimensions. I need a plan to help me measure accurately. I'm going to use Sketchup to do this, and you'll notice when I open I've got a top-down view. The reason I've got a top-down view is I have previously changed my template. I'm now going to go to Window and Model Info and just check that under Units I am measuring in decimal and meters, and that my precision is to 2 decimal places, so I'm measuring to the nearest centimetre rather than millimetres. Hit the red blob to close Model Info. I'm now going to draw the base to my bungalow, and I'm going to draw a rectangle. Now I don't have to be accurate in my drawing here, which is handy because I'm not particularly good with the mouse. I'm going to draw a rectangle of any size, and you'll notice at the bottom it says dimensions, and it's telling me that that rectangle is 6.96 meters by 4.42. Now this tip only works if you go directly to the dimensions after drawing your rectangle. You can type in exactly how big you want your rectangle to be. Just delete the dimension sizes that are already there and put in the ones you wish. In my plan, my wall is 8.9 meters by 4.75. So I'm going to change the dimensions at the bottom to 8.9 by 4.75, and when I press return it will change the size of the rectangle on the screen. I'm now going to use this tool, which is Zoom Extents, and this will show me the whole rectangle on the screen. Now what I need to do is put some guidelines to help me work out where the inside of the walls will go. Now my interior walls are 30 centimeters in thickness. So to measure 30 centimeters from the edge, I'm going to need to use the tape measure tool. This will help me be quite accurate when I draw my model, just as I would use a ruler if I was drawing on paper. So I select the tape measure and I select the line from where I would like to measure from. I can then measure downwards. Now I can try and be precise and look at the exact length with my eye to try and draw it, but to be honest that's a bit fiddly and it's quite difficult to get it exactly right, although I've just managed it there. But what I can do instead is draw this guideline any distance from the wall at all and click and put it in that position. I can then go down to where it says length in the bottom right hand corner and set the exact measurement as I would like it to be. So I'm going to measure 0.3 meters from the wall, and when I press enter it will move the dotted line to 30 centimeters from the wall. Now the brilliant thing about the tape measure is it will now remember that I wanted to be 30 centimeters from the wall, and when I draw my next guideline from this wall, it will it will help me get exactly 30 centimeters from that wall, or 0.3 meters. So as I go to other walls and draw my guidelines, again it will snap to the 0.3 meters. It remembers that because we typed it in. This won't happen if you just use your eyes as a guideline. Now, with my guidelines drawn, I now know the interior space for my bungalow, and it's in that space I'm going to draw my rooms. So, to the rectangle tool, and I'm going to place this rectangle at the intersection of my 2 guidelines, because that's the inner corner, and I'm going to draw down to the intersection at the bottom, because this room is going to be the full width of the building. So I click, and then I drag down to the next intersection, and then I'm going to pull my room across, trying to keep on the guideline. And again I'm looking for a width here of about 3.5 meters, in fact exactly 3.5 meters because that's what it says on the plan. But again I don't have to be precise in dragging this out, because I can click and edit the size of the room. Now I have to do this straight away, otherwise it won't work, and I'm also going to remove that little tilde because that can mess up the measurements. So 3.5 meters, press return, and the rectangle resizes to the exact size we want the room to be. I'm now going to add the thickness for my wall, which is 15 centimeters or 0.15 meters. So again, I need to use my tape measure tool to measure that distance. Now the tape measure will still be remembering the 0.3 from earlier. So I'm just going to drag out any distance and click, and once again I'm going to go down to the bottom right and set the exact length I want it to be, 0.15 meters. And you can see it's altered where the guideline was drawn. I can now draw my next room, which is a 2 meter square room. This will be the shower room. Again, I can draw this square any size and change it down at the bottom under dimensions. And again, I must do that the moment I draw it and have clicked. If you don't, then it doesn't work. So there's my 2 meter square room, and I'm going to add the guidelines for the next set of walls. So measuring from here, the 15 centimeters. Now that was the last one I typed in to the tape measure, so again it remembers it. And I'm also going to do my guideline from that wall and just add back from there. So I've got a full set of guidelines. Now this makes it very easy to do the remaining rooms because actually they're already sort of penciled in with the guidelines. So I can go from one intersection to the next intersection in the diagonally opposite corner, and you can see that room is 415 by 2.5, which is the same as my plan. I'm also going to add the hallway. Now that's another 2 meter square space, and I have got more or less a finished plan. And I'm just going to remove the guidelines with the eraser tool. If I just click on them, they should go because I no longer need those, and it'll just tidy up what I'm seeing in the window. So I've now got what looks like a very good plan, but I'm missing one thing. These are just the walls, and what do I need but doors, so I can get into my house and then into the different rooms from my corridor. Now each of the doorways is going to be 1 meter wide, and these are 2 meter walls. So if I'm putting in 1 meter doors into a 2 meter wall, I need each door to be 50 centimeters from the edge of the wall. So once again, we go to our trusty tape measure, and I'm going to measure a distance from the edge. It doesn't matter what distance. I'm looking for 50 centimeters, but I can click at any distance and go and set the exact length. So 0.5, press enter. It moves the guideline, and then I can use the snap feature to draw in the other guidelines, and they should all snap to 50 centimeters from the edge. Now my next tool is a new tool. It's the pencil tool or the line tool, and we use this just to draw across the walls where the guidelines are. Just click carefully, and this will mark the edge of the wall and show us where the doorways are across those walls. Make sure you do all of them. So this is the outside wall where the front door will be, and the last doorway, which will be to the living space. And that's done. Let's clear up the guidelines, and there we have our finished plan drawn to scale of our bungalow.